Right now, Vice President Kamala Harris has just landed in Madison. We have team coverage throughout the evening covering her campaign stop.
Also, the Republican Party in Wisconsin has released their response to the Harris visit, why they think Madison isn't the prime spot for a stop.
And the Boys and Girls Club is helping Haitian migrant families in Ohio, how they're helping and how you can too.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Well, good evening, everyone. We have team coverage in the field awaiting Vice President Harris's arrival at the Alliant Energy Center.
Our Braden Ross is at the Alliant Energy Center right now speaking to supporters waiting to get in. Our Maddie Heimsch is covering Harris's arrival at the airport, and Jalen Binks will be covering who else plans to speak tonight. For right now, we'll go to Eric Franke, who will be giving us an overview of what we're expecting tonight. Eric?
Ellie, Brady, it is a packed house right here as they listen to interim Dane County Executive Jamie Kuhn speak behind me. We've already heard from Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway and Democratic State Party Chair Ben Wickler. And the Vice President, we understand, and feel free back in our control room, if we do have a live look at the airport, feel free to go ahead and take that. We understand the Vice President has just landed. The crowd anticipating her arrival here. She's set to speak at 6:30, but capacity here just over 10,000. They were expecting some 12,000, and the Vice President has already had a busy day today. She was in Detroit last night with Oprah at a podcast. Already has been down in Atlanta today talking to constituents there about abortion rights. That seems to be one of her chief topics she wants to cover. We expect to hear more from that tonight here in Madison at the Alliant Energy Center, but let's hear a little bit of what she had to say a short time ago down in Atlanta.
And these hypocrites want to start talking about this is in the best interest of women and children. Well, where you been? Where you been when it comes to taking care of the women and children of America? Where you been? How dare they?
As we said, the lines have been long here. We got here early this afternoon. They opened the doors at 2 o'clock, and people have been a constant flow. It was full, the music playing, for the last couple hours, and it was a packed house literally 2 hours before the expected speech from Vice President Harris. Braden Ross has been talking to many of the folks who have been in those lines today. What brought them out to Alliant Energy Center today? Let's go to Braden with the very latest on what she heard from attendees. Braden?
Hi, Eric. Yeah, it's certainly a packed house in here and a little bit quieter. If you would have come to us just 10 minutes ago, it would have sounded like a total party in here with music, like you were saying, bumping, and everyone cheering, happy, excited to be here. And that's one of the things that we've heard a lot from this campaign is this idea of joy. Bringing joy, taking a more fun approach to this race is really how Vice President Harris is trying to frame this campaign. And one of the young voters that I spoke to says that message is really resonating with her. Take a listen.
It's a serious thing, but I think making it a little bit more light sometimes makes it feel more accessible for people who maybe are well, I don't know anything about that. That's a lot. I'm just not going to get involved.
Now, I also asked voters what they wanted to hear from Vice President Harris tonight. Some of the top answers I got were reproductive rights, gun violence, climate change. Of course, we'll be watching out to see if we do hear about that from her. And I'll talk to voters after the fact and see what they thought about this rally and if this change made them more energized, more ready to go out and bring their friends to the polls. That's kind of really the main point here, right, is to rally, of course, the people who are here who are supporters, but also to rally them to go out and do the work and bring people with them to the polls. But for now, I'll send it back to you, Eric.
Braden, thank you. And that was one of the chief messages the Democratic Party Chair Ben Wickler had, is that he said the get out the vote effort really has to be extended here. And you think of Madison, a Democratic candidate for president is always going to have a friendly crowd here. We saw unbelievable crowds with John Kerry in 2004. President Obama certainly used the energy of Madison several times as a Democratic candidate for president to really energize his campaign. And that's what we're going to see tonight from Kamala Harris. But really what it's about is getting a big lead in Dane County. The Democrats know they're going to win Dane County, but they want a big number to offset any votes Donald Trump might get in the rural areas throughout the state. Now, We understand Kamala Harris right now, if we want to go to the airport where Kamala Harris is stepping off Air Force 2 right now at Dane County Regional Airport. Let's go as well. We want to go down to Jalen Banks because he's been talking about the speaking lineup right now as we watch the what's unfolding at the airport. As we mentioned, Jamie Kuhn, the acting Dane County exec, here now. Sachi Rhodes Conway's already spoken, as well as Ben Wickler. Let's go to Jalen Banks now. He has more on what speakers we're expecting to hear from tonight. Jalen?
Yeah, Eric. Currently speaking is interim Dane County executive. Excuse me, 1 second as I'm replacing the script. But as you'd imagine, a plethora of Wisconsin-based speakers that'll be speaking before Vice President Harris goes on. Ben Wickler spoke, Mayor Sachi Rhodes Conway, but back to Ben Wickler as he spoke. He emphasized the recent polling that we had seen and how important Wisconsin has played throughout elections, both this year and in years past, with 4 out of the last 6 elections, presidential elections here in Wisconsin being decided by less than a percentage point, and how important, again, Wisconsin will play this year as they attempt to elect Vice President Harris. And he also mentioned U.S. Senate race here in Wisconsin between Senator Tammy Baldwin and her challenger, Republican Eric Hovde. Currently, polls show that Baldwin has a lead, 51% to 48 when it comes to Hovde. And as far as speakers tonight, Democratic Governor Tony Evers is set to speak as well. But I'm going to kick it back to you as the speeches go on. Eric.
All right, thank you, Jalen. And again, this is a live look at Vice President and presidential candidate Kamala Harris arriving on the tarmac. We did see her greet Governor Tony Evers and First Lady Kathy Evers. It's a little shady over there, and so I'm trying to make out all the people. I saw Attorney General Josh Kaul. Looks like they're doing a photo op right now. Those are always important when campaigning.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar scene to what we saw when Biden last visited this city here. You know, the presidential nominee coming down, really getting those big names here in Wisconsin to show their support. Kind of what we're seeing, we're going to be seeing later at the Alliance Center with some of those big names that Jalen was speaking about earlier. It's all about rallying support and, you know, seeing those young voters come out, things like that. That's really kind of the goal of some of these events.
And there is Vice President Harris. We apologize for this technical difficulty. We saw her get into the motorcade, so it's going to go very fast. We will keep you updated as she makes her way to the Alliant Energy Center for her rally. But let's get a look at our first warn forecast. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is out on the patio. Are you sweating it yet?
I am not. It's actually a little cooler out here because that cold front passed yesterday. I've got our station's rain gauge here at about 3/4 of an inch of rain. That's what we picked up here at the News 3 Now studio, but other places, Patch Grove, Prairie du Chien, Dodgeville, Stitzer got over 2 inches of rain. And a lot of us, this is our first beneficial rain in not only 21 days, but also for really the entire month from the start of it through today's date. Take a look at the overall rain totals, though, across southern Wisconsin, stretching from the edge of Grant County and Crawford County all the way along 51 there, 151, back into Mount Horeb, really picking up upwards of an inch, 2 inches, 3 inches of estimated rainfall over the last 24 hours, which is some great news because we have been very dry up to this point, and we've got more rain in the forecast. Not tonight, though. We're going to continue to dry out, remain in those upper 50s to low 60s. But as we look ahead to the weekend, we are eyeing a couple chances for rain Saturday night into Sunday, and then again maybe Sunday through next Tuesday. However, our rain chances Sunday, they've been pushed further south. So we're going to talk about that and what our temperatures will be like next week in the full forecast.
All right, thank you, Blaze. We are going to go back to Maddie Heimsch as Vice President Kamala Harris has arrived and making her way to the Alliant Energy Center. Maddie, what are you seeing?
Hey guys, like you said, I am at the airport. So I would say about 15 minutes ago, I think it was right around 4:50. So yeah, about 15 minutes ago, we saw that plane come in, land on the tarmac right behind me. They circled around to go into that garage. And so you guys saw more than I did. Her coming down those steps and greeting those faces that we know here in Wisconsin before they head to the Alliance Center. But I heard you guys saying she is headed there. So I'm just going to toss it right back to you for all the action. For now, reporting live at the airport, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Maddie. Much more coverage ahead throughout the show and this evening on News 3 Now. Well, Republican legislators held a news conference earlier today in response to Vice President Harris making her visit to Wisconsin. State Party Chair Brian Schimming had this to say about the VP coming to town.
Kamala Harris doesn't get back to the White House unless she wins Wisconsin, and she needs a big turnout. She has to go to her base of voters, not where independent voters lives, because frankly, she doesn't want to answer questions from independent voters. She'd rather come somewhere where it's completely safe for her politically.
Deputy Communications Director of the Republican State Leadership Committee, Mason DePalma, in a separate statement said Republican candidates will continue to make Harris and other Democrats answer for their economic record while focusing on cost-effective ways to get the country on track.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court will rule on whether Robert F. Kennedy Jr. should remain on the ballot in the state for the upcoming November election. The court granted a petition from the Wisconsin Election Commission, or WEC, to bypass the Court of Appeals in this case. Oral arguments are not expected, and the court would, quote, endeavor to issue a written decision as expeditiously as possible.
A potential government shutdown is still waiting on the horizon.
A 6-month funding extension has failed to get through the House, missing the mark by nearly 20 votes. 14 Republicans voted against the bill and 3 Democrats voted in favor.
We'll have more on that story after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now, brought to you by Cardinal Heating and Air Conditioning.
I can honestly say that Cardinal has never let me down.
I definitely recommend Cardinal Heating and Air Conditioning because of the professionalism.
Cardinal will always be my first call for anything that Cardinal does.
I think we're going to continue to use Cardinal for a long time.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Eric Hovde insulted Wisconsin seniors.
Almost nobody in a nursing home is in a point to vote.
What a jerk. He attacked those who are overweight.
Fine, you want to do that? Your health care is going to cost more.
How insulting is that?
He called farmers lazy.
Look at the old physical toil. Now you're largely driving around a tractor.
This guy doesn't have a clue.
Eric Hovde has insulted just about everyone.
What's wrong with this guy?
Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. Dutch Boy Forever Interior Paint and Primer offers powerhouse protection with its odor-reducing technologies. Get a gallon starting at $29.98 after rebate. Give your space to Platinum treatment with Platinum Plus Interior Paint. Its Stain Shield technology protects your spaces with the performance you'd expect from luxury paint. A gallon starts at $37.99 after 11% rebate. Don't forget to check out Dutch Boy's Color of the Year, Mapped Blue.
Save big money at Menards.
Set summer in motion with a Honda Accord Hybrid, CR-V Hybrid, new Civic Hybrid, or all-electric Prologue SUV. Take a vacation, staycation, or just a weekend drive with the windows down. Whatever you do, make it epic with Honda. The 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Overall EV and Hybrid brand. So act now. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into the Honda Summer Event.
Right now, we're running our 60-60-60 sale. So when you purchase your new concrete coating, you get a $60 Visa gift card plus either 60% off installation or 60-month no-interest financing. This is one of our best deals of the year. So visit our website or call the number for your new floor today.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years. Highest gas prices ever. Skyrocketing interest rates. Unaffordable housing. Incomes down. Unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
When a crane collapsed during construction of a Major League sports stadium, 3 workers lost their lives. Their widows called us. When maintenance workers were permanently injured by an industrial accident at a public utilities power plant, the 7 injured workers called us. When a factory exploded, injuring dozens of workers, 18 victims, including all 3 families of men who lost their lives, called us. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
And you're taking a live look inside the Alliant Energy Center right now. We just saw Harris's motorcade pull out, so should be arriving pretty soon.
Yeah, so they are on their way to the Alliant Energy Center. People have been waiting in the crowds. We just heard that Representative Mark Pocan just finished speaking. There has been a long list of big names in the Democratic Party in the state that have been livening up the crowd. Of course, both parties are really focusing on Wisconsin. They see it as a key state for either party to win this election. We will check back in as we see more at this rally. Well, teachers at a Madison Montessori school are making moves to unionize. Nearly 24 teachers and staff at Toad Hill Montessori Incorporated have petitioned the National Labor Relations Board for a union representation election with Local 39. That election is set for October 2nd. If the workers decide to unionize, it would be one of the first private school teachers unions in the state. A Local 39 representative said that compensation at Toad Hill does not match area and state pay for teachers.
The company Bicycle Transit Systems has entered into agreement with B-Cycle from Trek. B-Cycle has several e-bike renting stations throughout Madison and is the first bike share company in America. Madison has one of 10 bike share systems that Bicycle Transit will be buying. Other locations include Santa Barbara, Santa Cruz, and Boulder. In a press release from Bicycle Transit, they did not say what the fate was for the current employees in the B-Cycle system.
And let's get a look at your first warn forecast. Here's meteorologist Blaze Keller. Hey, Blaze.
Hello. And at 0.67 inches at the Dane County Airport, that is the most rainfall the Madison area has picked up or seen in 3 weeks, 21 days to be exact. Yesterday, we picked up about 0.4 of an inch, would be the single rainiest day we've had all month. But we're still, as of today's date, the 19th driest September on record. We still don't have an inch of rain for the whole month, and usually we average nearly 3.5 inches through an average September. So we got a lot of ground to make up, and thankfully there's a couple more chances for rain here as we head over the next few days. The first one, let's jump ahead to your Saturday night. After climbing into those upper 80s to low 90s, we're going to watch as showers and thunderstorms move out of the northwest and continue to move their way south and eastward as we begin your late afternoon, early evening through the early overnight hours. We're looking at 7:30, and already those storms are beginning to move into central parts of southern Wisconsin. And then as we further out future track into about the midnight hour going into early Sunday, we're pretty much quieting down. But where that cold front ends up is going to set up how much rain we could see going into Sunday. So we're going to watch where those Saturday night into Sunday storms track, because whoever is underneath them is going to pick up probably between 1/2 inch to maybe an inch, inch and a half of additional rain on top of what we just saw. So this could change depending on where the line ultimately moves, but the takeaway is that an additional 1/2 inch to an inch and a half of rain is possible as we go Saturday night into Sunday. There is a chance for some severe weather, especially farther north and west. Those of us in the green were underneath that marginal risk. So stay with News 3 Now. We'll, of course, keep you updated. All severe weather hazards will be possible because we're going to be so hot. There's just that little bit of extra energy that those storms could use. But we're going to watch where that cold front ultimately sets up, because fronts sort of act like a guiding hand. They're going to pull in that next system wherever they eventually lay out. And our models have unfortunately pushed that cold front further to our south. So that's going to take a lot of that moisture that we otherwise thought we were going to see Sunday and keep it mainly south of the state line. We'll still see some scattered showers through about Tuesday, but a bulk of that moisture is unfortunately going to train to our south, where we find these purples and these reds. That was initially looking like it was going to be closer to southern Wisconsin, but because that cold front continues to be pushed further south, it's going to guide all that rain through parts of central Illinois, Missouri, as well as Indiana. They probably need the rain as much as we do. I'm just thankful that truly we got some rain last night, and we'll see that chance again as we head into your Saturday night into Sunday. Back into the upper 80s to low 90s for your Saturday. We are tapping into some air that we should have otherwise said goodbye to back in late August. But we don't say goodbye to the 80s until the end of September. So we'll hold on to the 80s for a little bit longer, and then we should start to cool on down. And there it is, upper 60s to low 70s Sunday and Monday, the start of fall. Then we're drying out a little bit with low 70s Tuesday through that following weekend.
And we'll be right back right after this.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Democrats say everything's great, but when you're on a fixed income struggling to pay for gas, groceries, or medicine, it doesn't feel great.
Biden-Harris created this mess.
And Tammy Baldwin's been right there with them.
25 years in Washington. What's she done?
Raised taxes.
Added trillions in new debt.
And gave stimulus checks to illegals.
I'm Eric Hovde. I approve this message.
I'd like a stimulus check.
I'd like you to take out the trash.
We're cranking up the voltage, Wisconsin. Lottery retailers all around the state are lighting up with the latest limited time offer. It's Badger 5, 5 will get you 6. During the month of September, players who buy a $5 or greater Badger 5 ticket will receive a bonus ticket for the next drawing of Badger 5. This electric offer is only available for a limited time and only at Wisconsin lottery retailers.
Old windows? Compromise your home's comfort. Vinyl windows, a 1970s relic, aren't built for extreme weather. They warp and crack, becoming vulnerable to the elements. At Next Door & Window, we have the answer. Fiberglass. Our Ultrex fiberglass windows last up to 50 years, longer than any other window you can buy. And while other companies cut corners and never call you back, we've got your back. When you demand tomorrow's comfort, Next delivers. Visit nextwindow.com to learn more.
Brian Style worked to overturn Roe v. Wade, called it a great victory.
Brian Stiles' victory banned abortion in Wisconsin, and his agenda would ban it nationwide, with surveillance of pregnancies and restricting birth control and fertility treatments. Peter Barca fights to protect our freedoms, not tear them away.
He backs Wisconsin's law enforcement, firefighters, and unions.
And Peter does what's right no matter what party it is.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
Think Sloan's first.
We've been with Sloan Implement since my father started farming, my grandfather started farming. They are a family business that's been around for generations, and that's very important to us.
Think Sloan first, now during Gear Up for Fall on a John Deere X350. Built for taking it easy. Get yours with 1.9% for 36 months. Get a John Deere now.
Power up Sloan's.
Think Sloan's first.
3 years ago, I had an abortion of a desperately wanted and loved baby. Joan Ballwig wants to ban all abortion, with no exceptions. Not for rape or incest, not to save the mother's life. I know what it's like when women have to make these heartbreaking decisions. The very last person who should have anything to do with it is a politician like Joan Ballwig.
Watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
You're taking another live look at the Alliant Energy Center as we await for Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yeah, and the crowd looks like they're pretty amped up. We've seen a lot of dancing, a lot of music, and of course, voters will get to hear some very serious policy measures that the Vice President has been touting throughout her campaign visits as we keep on this journey to Election Day in November.
And of course, our crews are there and will keep you up to date with all of what's going on inside. Well, you might have seen a TikTok video of goats running down a North Carolina highway that might be one of the greatest of all time, or goat.
I see what you did there. Well, the reason, the goats, Lindsay Klein brings us the details behind the viral video that had drivers taking a second look.
It's a scene that caused a lot of laughs and stares. But this video is certainly no joke.
Only in Yadkin County.
It was just a wild, wild day. I did not think my goats would go viral.
Bryson Durham was tagged in this viral video, and that's when it clicked.
So I was like, yo, these are my goats.
It all unfolded around 9:30 Monday morning, when drivers had to do a double take.
We were getting off the Revis Road exit going southbound on 421. We got to the top of the ramp. We seen a herd of goats.
Ryan and Tiffany Hudson were running after the goats, trying to corral them in, and called for reinforcements from law enforcement.
They were going as hard as they could down that ramp, so I called the sheriff, Nick Smitherman, and I asked him, I was like, what do we need to do about this? He's like, well, I'm dispatching people right now.
With help from the Yadkin County Sheriff's Office, Yadkinville Police Department, and North Carolina Highway Patrol, the goats were led here to the Tractor Supply Co. on South State Street.
I was honestly in shock. I said, you know, out of all things, this would happen in Yadkin County, North Carolina, goats being on 421. Little did I know that they would be our goats.
While the situation could have been bad, all's well that ends well, and they're all back where they belong. Safe and sound, and now famous.
I'm glad you guys got a good laugh out of it, and you know, I was not expecting it, but I hope you enjoy the goats as much as we do.
We definitely did enjoy the goats, if you can't tell. Well, Durham says the goats were following their mother as she headed to the beach.
Look at all of them, our little audience. Okay, well, we'll have a final check of our first warn forecast when we return.
Look, here's a phone company who wants us to use our phones less.
That's ironic.
Yeah, but in a good way.
Let's find us again with Us Mode. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
It's a free ride.
But I already paid.
We all know costs are too high, but while corporations are gouging families, Trump is focused on giving them tax cuts. But Kamala Harris is focused on you.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
She'll make groceries more affordable by cracking down on price gouging. And she'll cut housing costs by taking on corporate speculators. Middle-class families build America. We need a leader who has their back.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Thousands of our heroes face the difficult choice between keeping their heat and power on or facing homelessness. 21,000 Wisconsin veterans are living below the poverty line. Wisconsin loses 3 veterans to suicide every week. Together, our mission is to provide all struggling Wisconsin veterans with a critical survival safety net. You can make a real difference by providing a donation to the Wisconsin Heat and Housing for Heroes initiative.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor and the potential to take you anywhere.
Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or get $5,750 total value on this Silverado.
See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need. Because they're a part of them. Because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
Eric Hovde is a multimillionaire California bank CEO, but when it comes to our healthcare, his plans aren't so rich. Hovde says he wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act.
We have to try to defund every aspect of Obamacare,
costing 200,000 Wisconsin families their healthcare. And Hovde supported policies that will cut Social Security and Medicare and raise the Social Security retirement age. A millionaire lifestyle works great for Hovde, but his plans on healthcare are a disaster for us. Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Our phones were made to help us connect, and somehow they've made us less connected.
Which is ironic, don't you think? Oh, I love this song so much. Let's find us again with Us Mode. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
Coming up tonight on the CBS Evening News, tensions reach new heights in the Middle East after Israel says it killed a senior Hezbollah leader who was also wanted by the United States. The pleas from the U.S. to de-escalate and avoid an all-out war. That and more headlines tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And Blaze is back with weather, although truthfully I keep thinking about those goats. Anyone else? I hope you're having a nice day.
I'm glad that they were all okay.
Yeah.
They looked really fun, just having a little heyday.
Yeah.
Just a little vacation. No, what was that? Like, what did you do when you school vacation? What is that called?
Field trip.
And the weather for the weekend when we don't have field trips because school is out. We are looking at a quiet end to your Friday. We'll eventually settle into those 50s underneath clear to mostly clear conditions after rain moved through last night and early this morning. We're going to track more showers and thunderstorms Saturday night into Sunday. Some of those could be severe, but we're looking at more or less another round of just some beneficial rain that'll continue into Sunday. Further south, better chance for those showers Sunday and Monday. Sunday, of course, is the start of fall, and it'll feel more fall-like for those first few days, but the 80s look to return by that following weekend.
Oh, good goat weather.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. And there is Senator Tammy Baldwin taking the stage. We'll have more